On the news, President Buhari set to attend extraordinary ECOWAS summit in Burkina Faso. Bauchi yellow fever outbreak worsens as death toll climbs to 7. And Kenya goes tough on anti-malaria war, begins infant vaccination. Many thanks for joining us on News Now on TV360 Nigeria. I am Anetta Felix. President Muhammadu Buhari will leave Abuja on Saturday to attend the one-day Economic Community of West African States ECOWAS Heads of State and Government Extraordinary Summit on Counter-Terrorism in Ouagadougou, Burkina Faso. In a statement released on Friday, Special Advisor to the President on Media and Publicity, Femi Adesina, said President Buhari recognizes the importance of collective actions in the fight against terrorism and will continue to partner with ECOWAS member states and international organizations to address the menace. The summit was necessitated by the growing threat of terrorism in the West African sub-region. ECOWAS leaders at the summit will review different initiatives taken so far and redefine the priority intervention areas for the containment of the worrisome attacks in West Africa. The decision to convene the summit was reached at the 55th ordinary session of the ECOWAS Authority of Heads of State and Government in Abuja on June 29, 2019. President Muhammadu Buhari will be accompanied by Governors Abubakar Bello, Dapo Abiodun, and Okezie Ikpeazu of Niger, Ogun, and Abia States respectively, as well as the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Geoffrey Oyema, and the Minister of Defense, Major General Bashir Magashi. Death toll from the yellow fever outbreak in Bauchi State has increased to 7, a situation which has prompted the state government to commence vaccination across all local government areas. The state government has now begun an aerial spraying for Aedes mosquitoes, the vector that transmits the yellow fever disease. Speaking on the vaccination exercise, the state governor, Bala Mohammed, explains that over 30 million naira has been expended to contain the virus in 20 local government areas of the state. Governor Mohammed also warned against negative rumors that will undermine the vaccination drive. According to the government, the disease was transported by a foreign national who visited the Yankari Games Reserve in August. Now back to security. Training camp belonging to Islamic State of West Africa Province, ISWAP, has been destroyed by the Nigerian Air Task Force of Operation Lafia Doli. The camp was located near Malam Faturi on the fringes of Lake Chad in the northern part of Borno State. Air Commodore Ibikunle Daramola said the operation was executed on September 10, 2019, based on credible intelligence reports. He adds that intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance missions had identified a building on one of the Lake Chad islands that was being used by the terrorists as a facility to indoctrinate and train new fighters. The ATF then dispatched its aircraft to attack the location, completely destroying it and neutralizing all ISWAP occupants. Daramola added that some fighters seen fleeing the location were mopped up by follow-on attacks. Nigeria's First Lady Aisha Buhari is advocating for the development and deployment of more women soldiers for internal security operations. She gave the charge while speaking at the Defense Headquarters Maiden Annual Conference on Women, Peace and Security in Abuja. Represented by a senior special assistant, Hadjo Sani, Buhari said the impact of the female gender must be adequately unleashed in tackling the internal security facing the country. On his part, Chief of Defense Staff General Gabriel Olunishakin said the Nigerian Armed Forces is implementing various initiatives and policies to mainstream gender perspectives into military operations. He also revealed that the participation of women of the Nigerian Armed Forces in peacekeeping has exceeded the UN recommended standard.
There is a need for information of laws, policies that bordered on the inclusion of women in the strategic reformation of effective operational deployment. There should be training, development, opportunities that will be specifically designed to support or accommodate the specific needs of female personnel officers, soldiers alike, and as a matter of urgency, eradicate gender bias policies, procedures where they still exist. The wide margin and lack of flexibility in structures based on gender should be abridged. I wish to also call on women soldiers to continue to exercise the resilience for which they have been identified. They should also continue to show good example of professionalism and therefore becomes of inspiration of other women.
Currently, the Armed Forces of Nigeria has attained 27.9% female participation in peacekeeping operations. This is higher than the United Nations recommended of about 17%. The Nigerian Defense Academy has also commenced training of female cadets as combatant officers. These women are given equal opportunities like their male counterparts, including commanding major combat units and flying fighter jets for the Nigerian Air Force. Similarly, the Nigerian Army Women Corps was established in March 2018 to ensure optimal performance of women towards enhancing the armed forces' operational efficiency, as well as allow them aspire to the peak of their career without limitations.
Vice President Yemi Osinbajo says the All Progressives Congress (APC) will lift 100 million Nigerians out of poverty in the next 10 years. He made the pledge during a courtesy visit to Muhammadu Bashir, Emir of Gwandu in Kebbi State. The vice president said he was in the state to promote petty trading, which according to him could alleviate the level of poverty in the country. According to Osinbajo, the National Micro and Medium Enterprises Scheme is a scheme that is designed to develop the business of petty traders. He commended the traditional ruler for collaborating with security agencies in fighting insecurity in Kebbi. He also thanked Abubakar Bagudu, governor of Kebbi State, for supporting trader groups across the 21 local government areas of the state and for giving 200 million naira loan to National Union of Road Transport Workers, NURTW. Responding, Bashir congratulated Osinbajo and President Muhammadu Buhari for their victory at the tribunal, urging Nigerians to put aside their differences and work for the growth of the country. Meanwhile, the All Progressives Congress has denied reports of crisis among members of the party. National Chairman of the APC, Adams Oshomole, addressing journalists after a meeting of the National Working Committee in Abuja, stressed that there are laws guiding the affairs of the APC, and as such, there's no room for crisis. The APC leader also urged politicians to play by the rules of the game and avoid instigating violence when they lose elections.
We are governed by rules. If somebody crosses the red line, he's disciplined. How does that suggest crisis? Look at all of us here. Do I look like somebody in crisis? And you are talking of 2 persons out of 21. Let me say, I made it clear that we are not presiding over an amorphous, unstructured organization. I believe Nigerians have a right to protest. I believe people have a right to contest issues. People have a right to disagree. And I've always said that government don't have right to dictate to people how to protest. But you must state what exactly that you want. I ask you to name any country in the world where somebody stand up and say, after the election I have contested and have lost. Now, therefore, I want a revolution. Go and check the ordinary and the political meaning of revolution. If it comes, it will be like the Christmas turkey. Nobody knows on Christmas Day which turkey will be first slaughtered. I think we do need to take this seriously. We have serious issues in this country. I have my own reservation about many things. But we have submitted to this process. We must work hard to make this process work. Nigeria must deliver to the poor. APC government must deliver. That's why I told you that the only thing we come here to discuss today is the easiest part is congratulations. The challenge is now we demand it. How do you recreate the middle class so that Nigeria can be stable? All the other things will therefore fall in line. And that requires clear thinking, robust determination, and ensuring that ministers that are coming are not coming to implement what they think. They are coming to implement programs that the party has agreed to. And that is why they are going to have a retreat before the president assigns ministerial positions to them.
Some governorship and deputy governorship candidates in the November 16 elections in Bayelsa and Kogi State are facing disqualification for being below the age requirement of 30. National Commissioner of the Independent National Electoral Commission, Festus Okoye, says it will soon notify the concerned parties and consider further action. In a statement on Thursday, Okoye said INEC will publish the personal particulars of candidates nominated by political parties for the polls. INEC says the publication is in accordance with the Electoral Act and in line with the timetable and schedule of activities for the governorship exercise. Okoye added that 64 political parties conducted primaries in Bayelsa State, while 59 political parties did so in Kogi State. Now, out of these, 52 political parties for Bayelsa and 49 for Kogi, respectively, submitted the list of candidates and their personal particulars at the close of nomination at 6 p.m. Monday, September 9th, 2019. He also added that out of the 101 nominees for the two states, 91 were male, representing 90%, while 10 were female, representing 10% of all the nominees. No Nigerian was arrested in the course of the evacuation from South Africa to Nigeria following the xenophobic attacks in the country. That's according to Nigeria Consul General in Johannesburg, Godwin Adama. Speaking to newsmen in Abuja, Adama says that contrary to news that returnees were detained by South African authorities, nobody was locked behind bars. He, however, clarified that some Nigerians missed their flights due to incomplete documentation and uncoordinated attitude, but that the issues were quickly resolved. Adama further explains that some of the returnees were interrogated by the immigration, but that the mission secured their release soon enough. 187 Nigerians were successfully evacuated from South Africa on Wednesday, and over 100 more are expected soon. The twin bug of economic hardship and poverty can be adequately addressed if government shows more concern to the living conditions of the people. This is according to Amanda Mukwanshi, Chief Executive Director of Christian Aid, at the unveiling of Nigeria's strategy document in Abuja. She says the launch of the new 7-year plan titled Standing Together aims to recommit the country to a just, equitable, and peaceful society where poverty is eradicated and everyone empowered to live life in all its fullness.
No matter how hard people work, somehow they don't manage to get out of that situation. It's the political, the economic, and the social structures that we have. And we have to work on those power structures if we're actually going to bring about sustainable growth, sustainable development, if we're going to touch people's lives and transform them into well-being and dignity. And those economic structures are not just sitting at the Nigeria level in terms of the national level or the local level. They're sitting at a global level. Somebody talked about the number of people who are wealthy. If we were to go into those statistics, you would feel very sad. But it is time we started changing that. It is time we started giving a hope to our young people. It is time we started rewarding the hard work of African women that, you know, somebody once said to me, if hard work would result into wealth, then African women would be some of the wealthiest people on the planet.
We recognize the value that most of you in your different spaces bring to the change narrative in Nigeria. Today, we recognize it, we endorse it, and we say, please, let us partner and work together. Whatever it is that you do, we recognize it. We want to join hands with you. We want to stand together. And standing together in this instance will mean more than just standing for ourselves. It will mean standing for people who are unable to stand. It will mean standing for people who don't even know where to stand. In fact, it will be standing for people who don't know when to stand. We will activate the agency of each and every Nigerian as much as is possible so that we stand together. And then, when we stand, we will work together, we will move together, and then we will build this nation together.
We have poverty because the wealth is concentrated in the hands of a few people. In fact, the most arresting documentation I've read was the UNDP report in 1998 that indicated that the 3 richest people in the world have assets that is more than the combined gross domestic product of 48 countries. So poverty is man-made and can be eradicated. But it requires action from the 3 arms of government: executive, legislature, and judiciary. It requires action from the tri-sectors: government, private sector, and civil society.
You're still watching News Now on TV360 Nigeria. We'll be right back after this break.
In the last 3 years, we have built a multi-purpose center, which is the envy of all in our constituency. And I can tell you that the people who are living there are already enjoying it.
Guy, do you think what this man just said is true? See, I seriously doubt. I'm sure it's one of those that are silly lies.
And wait, do you know there's a way to find out if these things he's saying is true or not? This is the Construct app. It gives people like us a sure way to track implementation of constituency projects. It gives valid and verified information on location of projects, amounts allocated, amount funded, the level of job done, and even the profiles of concerned legislators. You and I can post directly on this app.
Are you serious?
This is the go-to app if you want to know how our Commonwealth is being expanded by the government.
Wow. Let's even see if what this man said is true. Show me.
The Construct app is developed by Other People Nigeria with support from USAID and is available on both Google Play Store and Apple Store.
And it's true.
Of course, I told you.
You're welcome back. Let's now join Fidelia Aguncha for business stories. Hello, Fidelia.
Hi, Aneta.
Please bring us up to date with the latest business news today.
The Federal Inland Revenue Service, FIRS, says a total of 23,141 defaulters owe 254 billion naira in tax liabilities. Chairman of the service, Babatunde Fowler, revealed this at the 49th Annual Accountant Conference organized by the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria, ICAN, in Abuja. He says the agency is collaborating with commercial banks to ensure the recovery of defaulted taxes. Fowler says out of 44,293 non-compliant companies, 3,976 already paid about 97.7 billion naira. He adds that the agency recovered 88.59 billion naira after reaching an agreement with 3,797 out of the 42,736 companies. No fewer than 9.2 million SIM cards without proper registration will be blocked by the Nigeria Communications Commission, NCC. Minister of Communication Issa Pantami gave the directive after the submission of the short-term performance by the NCC. Pantami had directed all agencies and parastatals under his purview to submit their baseline short-term performance target report. The NCC in its report disclosed that an estimated 9,200,000 SIM cards did not comply with the proper procedures of SIM registration. We'll now look at activities on the stock markets after this break. Don't go away. Slow but steadily, momentum has returned to the Nigeria equities market, with each new day better than the previous. The market had been on a downtrend following NBS reports that Nigeria's GDP growth rate receded in the second quarter of 2019, but all that seems to have been forgotten, with investors intensifying activities. In the past 3 trading sessions, the value of the NSE has surged by 2.65%, a clear difference from the 1.98% drop incurred following 5 consecutive days of decline, which began last Wednesday. Activity level has also surged, with the value of trade moving up from the 854 million seen on Thursday to 2.62 billion naira we can see here today. Well, for the first time since listing on the NSE on July 10th, Airtel Nigeria right here is leading the pack of gainers with a 26.5 naira boost in its share price to close the week at 350 naira. Seplat sits second on the chart with a 2.22% gain in value. Okumu Oil and Forte Oil made a combined gain of 5 naira 25 kobo to clinch the third and fourth spot, respectively, on the table. Well, the top 4 losers for today are Stanbic IBTC, WAPCO, that is Lafarge Africa, Oando PLC, and Champion PLC. Well, let's now see what's happening outside Nigeria. Progress in US-China trade talks seems to have positively influenced investors' confidence in Europe, America, and Asian markets, as the FTSE, Dow, and Nikkei and trading for the week in greens, as we can see right here. Well, that is from the world of business. It's back to Aneta.
And there you have it, all the latest business stories. And on the wider African front, Kenya on Friday became the 3rd country to start routinely inoculating infants against malaria. Using the world's first vaccine, Kenya is hoping to eradicate the disease that kills 800 children globally every year. The vaccine RTSS targets the deadliest and most common form of malaria parasite in Africa, where children under 5 account for 2/3 of all global deaths from the mosquito-borne illness. Kenya, which is rolling out RTSS in the western county of Homa Bay, joins Malawi and Ghana, which earlier this year commenced their own pilot vaccination programs supported by the World Health Organization, WHO. The shots, administered over 4 doses, have been shown in clinical trials to significantly reduce cases of malaria and malaria-related complications in young children. Family of late ex-president of Zimbabwe, Robert Mugabe, have finally agreed to bury him at the National Heroes Acre in the capital, Harare. Spokesperson for the family, Leo Mugabe, confirmed this on Friday, saying the traditional chiefs in Mugabe's homestead made that decision. A date for the burial is, however, yet to be confirmed. Mugabe family and President Emerson Mnangagwa had been at odds over the burial place of the late president, with the family insisting he'll be laid to rest in Kutama, his hometown. Mugabe, whose rule ended in a military coup in 2017, died last week in Singapore, aged 95. His body was flown back to Zimbabwe on Wednesday. And not so good news in sports, as the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission, ICPC, have sealed the Abuja residence of Shehu Diko, second vice president of the Nigeria Football Federation, NFF. This follows an order of forfeiture of the property by a federal high court and a fresh corruption investigation on the federation. According to the ICPC, the investigation is to uncover financial malpractices and in the Football Association, allegedly involving Diko and other executives. Rashidat Okodua, ICPC spokesperson, says Diko's property was sealed following fresh corruption charges against him and some other executives of the NFF. And that's all for now on News Now. Many thanks for watching. I am Anetta Felix. Bye for now.